And we are live. Guys, welcome to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. I'm so excited about this. I have a guy who has been on my podcast quite a few times, and he's become more than just a podcast guest. He's become a good friend of mine. And also, this guy is about one of the more charitable people I've ever met. I have none other than walleye aficionado, Captain Bill Kutka. How you doing tonight, Bill?
Good, Jay. I appreciate those kudos. I don't feel it after the last couple of days up here in Hayward. Ice just came off the big lakes. I think Monday, most of them cleared up. So I've been out doing some pre-fishing for opener, and I don't feel like an aficionado, but thanks. Good to be with you again.
Well, I fished a lot of the walleye greats. And I just from talking to you, I can tell you're right up there among their ranks. I remember back in the '80s seeing your name in the standings of the In-Fisherman Professional Walleye Trail. A lot of times.
Yeah, that was a good start. I really enjoyed those days. Matter of fact, talked to Tony Puccio last night. Got to see him down in Florida, fished with him a little bit, and that's really where I think the walleye industry took off. Not only the tournaments for sure, but also just a focus on walleye fishermen. It was always bass, 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 and I think it put some direction towards the walleye.
Well, the Linder boys were about the most charismatic people I've ever known.
Yeah, for sure.
They got together and they had a dream, and I had the honor of talking to Al Linder one time, just me and him, in Mike Norris's boat, and I told him that he paved the way for guys like me, just ordinary guys, with no budget, but a dream and an unquenchable desire to succeed.
Yep.
And I said, I was from the north. I loved walleyes. Now I'm all about bass, but I'll never stop fishing for walleyes.
Yep. And look at their roots. They came from the Chicago area, right? So
yes, and so did I.
Yeah, me too. It's like, here I am, living the dream.
Exactly. Now you're in one of the coolest places on earth. Why don't you tell the folks where you live?
Yeah, so live up here in Hayward, Wisconsin with my wife, Kelly. Live on a small little lake up here. We love it. Full-time guide up here now, and Hayward is just an awesome community. We've got the National Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame here in Museum. I'm sure people know about it, but a lot of people don't know about it. It's really iconic, right? I mean,
yes.
Not only do you have the Hall of Famers like Jim Grant and Mike Mladnick and Linders and Kurt Gowdy. I mean, there's a list, right? But it's also really cool to tour, and it's a great family experience too. It's a lot of history there, a lot of memorabilia. It's got big cool fiberglass muskie. It's one of the iconic.
100 feet long.
Yeah, 100 feet long. It's a couple stories, maybe 30. Yeah, probably about 40 foot tall. It's one of the most famous pictures that you can take in Hayward. You get up in the musky mouth and it's a wonderful campaign. And, actually, if I could, this is the second year that Jim Grant with Grant Industries and Grant Rods is, kicked off with me, at least, a fundraising effort for new membership. So we did it last year, and he asked me if I'd take part. And I said, heck yeah. Jim's an awesome guy. I'd go paint his house for him. He's just awesome.
Yes.
He's done so much for me and Jacqueline, just wonderful people. So there's a campaign right now, and I've got it all over my Facebook pages with a donation or a new membership of any level. You'll get entered into a drawing for a $500 Grant U.S.-made custom rod or a full-day guide trip up here in Hayward, and I'll even offer it on Lake Erie this year.
If you guys want to see what that rod looks like, it's going to be like this. I mean, this has a dial reel on it, of course, but it's going to be similar to this. I mean, see with the stainless steel See, it has double rod, double nuts there. So that's one thing about spinning reels is this is always coming loose, and I've had my reel fall off when I cast it before because I get very focused when I fish.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
100% U.S. Made, U.S. components. Jim is a craftsman. You know, he really puts his heart into everything, and he's got such a diverse line. So yeah, so that campaign is active. Actually,
what else what else is going to be a prize for that, Bill?
well, the rod and I mentioned a full day guide trip with me, and I'm actually fortunate. I've got the winners from last year coming up to fish with me this year, and they booked the second day, so I'll have them out 2 days back to back. But Jim raised thousands of dollars for the haul last year, and you know we want to continue that momentum. So do it. I mean, it's $30 to a lifetime membership, right? I mean, it's supporting something that is so important to our industry. I don't care if you're a guide or a recreational fisherman. Take the time to research it, take a look at it, and look at. You've got all my information down below at billkutkaangling.com. I also have my Facebook pages. People can find me. I've got the information out there. Once they enter their membership, they need to email Jim Grant, and it's in my instructions on my Facebook page, and let them know that they did go ahead and get a membership and what level. And then Jim will take the raffle tickets, and him and Jacqueline will be drawn out of a minnow bucket down the road here. So, please, reach in and support what's important to our industry. There's so much crap going on in this world right now, and these things get kind of forgotten, right? And it's just such a great institution. I'm going to be doing some live stream videos over there. Kelly and I are going to go over and kind of pump it up, take people around and see what's inside and outside, and just keep pushing this. So would appreciate anyone that would become a new member. That'd be awesome.
Guys, this is really a worthwhile cause. I completely agree with the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. They have a lot of good history there. From the fishing industry has been so good to me. I've met so many great people through it, doing this podcast, and also with 20 years as an outdoor writer and a guide and dabbled in fishing tournaments, and followed the PWT around. That Captain Bill was fishing back, in the 90s. Fished with the greats like Ted Takasaki and Tommy Scarless, which, geez. And also, if you're going to be, I got to tell a quick story. I was up there in Hayward, Wisconsin in 1983. Dad belonged to a muskie club, and he normally just walleye fished when he would go on muskie club outings. But man, one day I woke up and said, "Dad, I want to go to Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame." And he was so mad. He went anyways, but that was the one time I got to go there. I saw this big muskie. "What is that, Dad? What is that?" And he's at the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame.
Yep. Yeah, Emmett Brown, the executive director, does a wonderful job up there. They've just done some updating, in the interior, and it's truly remarkable. It's a fun experience.
Yeah, we have a comment here from my good buddy Cajun Rob. He said Captain Bill is the best dude ever.
Tell my wife Kelly that, would you?
Yeah.
She's my biggest fan. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. One thing I've learned is, I think you're the same way, Jay. What I say is the truth. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst, but what I know, I share, and what I want to keep secret, I keep secret, right? But thank you for that. Hopefully that resonates in the way I am. Thank you very much.
Well, there are very few secrets anymore.
I got a few.
particularly with the advent of, particularly with like Lowrance active target. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. I've been beating the heck out of that the last few days. Sighting my fish, Jay. I love it.
Geez. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I've been out in quite a few I fished a lot of different people. And man, I just went out with the first guy who had active target last weekend, and I couldn't believe it. Now you can tell how deep your crankbaits are going.
I use it. I just got done. I was out in Lake Erie for a MWC tournament. I fished with Kelly's son Byron, and we had a good time. 7 days of a tournament or pre-fish, I was able to pre-fish 2.5 days. The wind and snow, it was terrible.
Snow.
But when I'm out trolling, I'll actually take my active target and I'll use it as a periscope. I'll set it out on Scout, and I'll look left, I'll look right. In my seminars this winter, I talk about fishing the fish that you don't see and fish the skinny fish, whether it's in skinny water, 15 foot, 10 foot, or the top 10. You don't see those fish out there. But, you get into these big active schools, those feeding fish are near the top. Like in Lake Erie, I was targeting anywhere from, 8 to 20 foot max in 40 foot of water. But I was able to see out and see how high they were and how far away from the boat they were, and I made my adjustments for that. So not only is it good for the down and watching the reaction bite, but I use it for exploration all the frickin' time. If I'm working a shoreline of weeds, I not only have my side scan out, taking a look, but I also will take my active target and put it on a 45 degree, and I'll just keep going with my main motor real slow. I try to stay under 3 miles an hour anytime I'm on active on side scan. But I can also kind of look out and see what's going on with my side scan too. So I'm looking at not only the active target. So I'm looking at active target on an angle, and I got my side scan, and just trying to figure out where the fish are.
What we use it for down here is we're going down a shoreline, and there's a lot of cypress trees. We'll look at a cypress tree. Okay, there's nothing there, so it eliminates 80% of the water for us.
Well, I think that's the key to any fishing. It's kind of funny you said that. It's not whether it's a tournament or even like right now. I'm out scouting right now because I've got trips. Our opener is Saturday. I'm eliminating water right now, and I'm not marking fish. I'm jumping lakes. It's just I spent an hour on a lake today. It's like, nope, you don't interest me today. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. But you got to eliminate, and you don't fish last year. Don't fish summer memories in May. I think we get caught up in that. Don't go to the deep center bars on these lakes right now. Those freaking fish. I saw so many fish in the last 2 days, Jay. I mean, literally with my eyes in 10 foot of water, they're still in pre-spawn up here, and it drives you bat goofy, right? But you just got to eliminate and stay productive.
Absolutely, man. Eliminate that water, and that's what active target does. I was very impressed with active target. I don't talk badly about any company, but I can praise companies because I'm not sponsored by any electronics company. But I was very impressed with Lowrance, and I can say I've owned at least 4 Lowrance units in my life. I'm sure you owned a lot more, but I've only owned 6 boats in my life, so
Yeah, I love Lowrance. I'm fortunate they back me, of course. I've got 4 or 5 HDS 12 lives on the boat. I got 2 on the bow, 2 on the dash, and 1 in the back. Yeah, so and I still don't catch fish.
Well, I don't care how much electronics you have. If they're not biting, they're not biting.
Yeah, well, the reason it's set up that way, Jay, it's for the ease. The one in the back's when I'm trolling, so I'm not looking back all the time. I'll split the screen if I need to, but I'm up on the bow. I'm concentrating on my I got my active target, hooked up, where it's linked up. I can actually use my active target on my dash too. Everything is hooked up with Ethernet cords. I couldn't rig it. Thank God for Frankie's Marina in Chisago City, Minnesota. Those guys are freaking awesome. I tell them what I want, and
let me set it up. I am the title of my job is not electronics tech. It's not. But a big part of my job is being able to get new electronics that we get for measuring how much water is flowing through streams, figuring out how to use them, and also diagnosing problems in electronic systems. I could not rig these boats nowadays. I can pull any wire there is. I can hook up any electronics that there is, but they've just gone way beyond me.
A lot of guys, the tournament fishermen still do their own rigging, and that's fine. I could, but quite honestly, I'd rather have someone that does it every day that has maybe a different idea on how to splice, or hey, you got too many leads here. Let's do this. It's, I'll
tell you, those wires have little bitty strands inside of them. If you, it's not very hard to break those strands, and once a certain amount of those strands are broken, it's not going to work right, and it's going to be very hard to diagnose what's wrong with it because you can't see those.
Yep. I just had a problem on Lake Erie. My main motor on Thursday, the day before the tournament, I took a hard slap and my main motor would shut off. I was like, son of a gun. And I've got a 400 Verado. Everything else stayed on, and luckily one of the tournament directors for the Lake Erie Walleye Trail, Jason Fisher, awesome. He works for Vic's Sports Center out there in Ohio. He thought it was a loose nut. We tried to fix it. Anyway, it repeated itself for 3 days, and it was actually behind the dash. I took it back to Frankie's on Thursday. They had to take all the electronics off, and it was a flipping connection into a nut. All it did is take a nanosecond to break that circuit, and would shut the main motor off. It would start right back up. But, you're out in northeast winds with 3-foot waves, and actually it prevented me from making I was going to make about a 45-mile run, and I didn't do it. I just didn't want to get caught. So, but to your point, electronics are finicky, and how you wire them. So, it's like anything, I don't pull my own teeth, right? I go to a dentist. I rely on the experts to do it. And but I think some guys like to do it because they feel that they know, and they probably do, that it's wired right, it's wired how they want it. Yeah. So it's personal choice.
It used to be easy, it really did, when you only had, 2 electronics, 2 pieces on your boat. And now that you have 6, it's just not as easy. But guys, so leave that up to the pros if you can.
Right.
But okay, so how did you do in the tournament out there, Bill?
In the 2.5 days that we had out there, Jay, I love Lake Erie, by the way. Oh my God, I did seminars this winter. A couple stats: 151 million walleye over 15 inches last year in 2021. They had a record hatch in 2021. They're going to raise the limit to 10 next year in Ohio. But anyway, I think 67 pounds won. And in pre-fish, I had 32 pounds and 28 pounds in the 2 days the other half day I didn't fish. So, I ended up, what the heck did I have? I think 48 pounds, 22 and 26, I think we had. So, it was a game of another 5 pounds would have took me up probably 60 spots. It was just stacked, They were just getting done with the spawn. You wanted to stay on pre-spawn where you could. So there was a lot of cookie cutters in that 6-pound class. So, you always, your neighbor had 6.2, you wanted 6.8. That, it was just a game of ounces. But there was some big fish out east, and we launched out of Sandusky, and there were guys making runs as far as Cleveland, but we'll get them next year.
Well, I've heard stories of the bass guys, launching out of Port Huron and going all the way up to the St. Clair River.
Yep.
That's wow.
Yeah, I've made 80-mile runs before one way, but they better go when you get there because you only got 2 hours to catch them,
Yes. So when you make a run that long, do you have to stop and fuel?
Yeah, generally. My Ranger's only got a 54-gallon tank, and so you gotta watch yourself a little bit. Those other boats have up to 80-gallon tanks, so they get a little bit more. And I've got that 400 Verado, so yep, you just got to be smart about it, and then know where your fuel stations will be.
Boy, I'll tell you, just because if you're going to make an 80-mile run on a year, you better be watching all the weather.
Oh yeah.
That's just be safe, guys. Be safe.
Well, that's I'll bring it up. There was an incident, National Walleye Tour in Chamberlain. Jack Lapine had his boat broadsided. Yeah. Right. I mean, it was a good day. The first day was a great day, cookie cutter day. Next day was gnarly, heavy winds and, low visibility. And he got T-boned. His amateur was hurt. And so, yeah, you don't take anything for granted. You got to, watch the weather and if the weather goes south on you, adapt. You gotta be smart about it. You don't make a 60-mile-an-hour run when you have lower visibility. Not that Jack did that, but I'm just saying in general, people need to respect Mother Nature and have your freaking kill switches on. Make sure your PFDs are on. I promise Kelly every time, I don't care if I'm on a small lake, I'm hooked up. Who's to say I don't slip and fall out of the boat? So, but yeah, it's a little public service.
With all the social media now, I've actually seen video of guys trying to get back into a boat when it's still running, and it's supposed to run in circles, and they do, but you try to get into that boat.
Yeah,
that's running in circles, even when it's going slow. You can't do it.
Use common sense. You want to come home to your family, right?
You sure do. So how were you catching your fish out there in Lake Erie in the pre-spawn?
Yep. So it was all trolling. I was using all bandits, using my razor rod 8-foot extendable classic series rods hooked up with Okuma 20 DXT reels, and bandits. I wasn't running any lead because I was really running short. I was running leads anywhere from 40 to 120 foot. And what I really found is that the fish at 20 foot were the ones that wanted to snap all the time. So on the second day of the tournament, I did run some inside boards with drop weights, but I got them all down to 20 foot and it was game on. So, deep diving bandits, various colors. I've got a really good sponsor, Ben Garrison, Killing Time Custom Baits. He fished with me on my birthday out there in pre-fish. That's when I got the 32 pounds. And he's a phenomenal, I call them artists, these guys that paint baits and custom baits. But, I tried some P10s and some old Hottentots, even from the Storm day. I've still got some of the John Storm sponsored me back in the day. I still have tubs of Hottentots and all wiggle warts, all that. But they just wanted bandits, and they wanted them, anywhere from, for me anyway, 1.2 to 1.5 was the speed that worked for me. So
the old Hottentots, man, when those things spun out, boy, did they ever spin out.
Yeah. No, I still love them. I still have.
Oh, I caught some great fish on those.
Yeah. Yep. I was blessed to know Storms back in the day, and they made a great product.
They sure did. I love their wiggle warts too.
Yep. Thunder sticks. I still use them. And
Tommy Scarlett's called those the Thunder Chickens. Yeah. Boy, love talking to you guys from back in the day, man. Talk about my favorite lures.
Yep.
I caught a decent sized muskie using a deep junior thunder stick on Shabbat Lake back in 1998. Because it went down far enough just to skip the top of those rock piles, and it hit the top of the rock piles, and then damn, a walleye would take it. But one time, a big old muskie took it, and it was exciting.
Yeah, I like those surprise baits or bites. I don't know, it was 3 years ago. I was up here jigging a lake and ended up getting a 45-inch muskie on light spinning gear. I got under the boat, got the hook out. So I didn't have a net big enough for him, but. Yeah, it's and I've had, God, I think last year probably half a dozen times, you get a walleye on and the muskie will come up and just smack that walleye, T-bone it. And it's exciting for the customers. I told them it won't last long. Enjoy the ride while he's got it. And then, it comes up, looks like Freddy Krueger slashed it, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to tell my customers when they hooked into a small bass, yeah, skip that around the top of the water, see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, for
About
sure.
1 out of every 3 trips, something would smack it.
Yeah. Hey, real quick too, if I could, ended up doing about 500 of those Mike Hansen decals,
Yes.
and down at MWC in Sandusky, I raised about another 800. I think all in, probably around $4,000 is going to Sherry Hansen, Mike's wife. But more importantly, I get messages almost every day. People are putting the decals on. So those that supported it, thank you. Mike's on my boat, he's on my truck, and Mike's in my heart. He's my third fisherman all the time in a tournament now. But thank you for all the folks that did support, because I know we've talked about it a few times here.
We have.
Yeah. I'm still pissed at him for leaving us. But
you have one of those decals you can show?
I don't have it here. I'm so sorry. I didn't.
Okay.
Actually, I'm out. I've got it on my boat. Maybe next time I'll put the boat in the driveway. We'll do a live right in front of my boat, and I can walk people around my boat, show you how I rig it and stuff. And I'm totally out. And I'm happy to say that.
Okay, good. Well, anyways, Bill Kutka was raising money for the family of Mike Hansen by selling decals that say Mike Hansen Strong.
Yep.
And also it had his MPAA number on there.
Yep.
Which was a National Professional Anglers Association, which was an association of professional anglers, and they band together to share information and raise the popularity of everybody.
Yep. Great organization.
Sure is. I belonged to them back in the day. Back in the 90s. So Bill, where's your next tournament going to be?
I'm backing down a little bit by my choice, but I'm going to do a head-to-head tournament in August with Dale Helgeson.
Okay, another Razor boy.
Yeah, another Razor guy, and spent a lot of time with him and the Stickles down in Milwaukee this year. But Dale and I are going to hook up. It's a combination walleye and bass tournament, August 8th through the 12th. Cameras in the boat, bracket fishing, all that. But what's cool about it is once you get your qualifying species of each, then it's game on. Any fish in those two that fit the criteria for the minimums go towards your bag weight. So, 3-pound smallmouth weigh the same thing as a 9-pound walleye. So it'll be.
Where is that going to take place?
Door County, probably out of Sturgeon Bay, I would suppose. So we're excited about that. Razor's a sponsor for that tournament too. So yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. It'll be my first bracket type tournament, so I look forward to it.
Wow, that's crazy. A combination bass walleye head to head in Door County, where they have giants of both species.
Right, exactly, right. So
of course, there's no such thing as a 12-pound smallmouth. So
yeah, but 3-4s make 12, so that's the way I look at it.
And there's a lot of 3-4s in there, man.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. I look forward to that.
That can be anybody's game. I mean,
yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So get your tubes, get your Ned rigs.
Yep.
Get your drop shots.
Absolutely.
And get ready.
That'll be fun, and I'm excited that Razor's part of it, and I think they sponsored two of the head-to-heads this year. So, looking forward to it. And Dale's a great stick. He just finished 10th on the Detroit River, March 31st and April 1st. Yep. So now it's a tough fight.
Competition. Woo.
Yep. So, yeah, hopefully we'll turn some heads.
Because with 150 million walleyes coming up there to spawn, jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, that's going to be a fun tournament.
Yep. Good time of the year for both species, too.
Yes. That's what I was going to say, man. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, there's supposed to be some open water trolling for the walleye. There'll be some up on the reefs, of course. Some
Yes.
jigging with moonshines and shiver minnows stuff, shiver minnows, hyper rattles, stuff like that. And same thing with those bass. They'll be out in the beds, but they're also very territorial along the shorelines and in that shipping canal. So a lot of strategy. We'll do some thinking for sure.
Because with as many walleyes as in that body of water, there are some days when even the best guys can't find them.
Yep.
There's so much water there. I mean, you got to go all the way up to the Horseshoe Reef, or
yeah. I mean, it's up to Cedar River, Ford River. Up Chambers Island. I mean, all that'll be going, I'm sure. But but you got to run big water to get there too, right? So I would rather have my strategy, even in Lake Erie, was to try to find fish. I'd rather have my lines in the water than my hand on a throttle, right? I mean, more time in the water is my game. If you gotta go, you gotta go. But especially like on Lake Erie, fish are becoming more residential. There's so many freaking fish out there right now. You got the big migrations and stuff, and they do the same thing in Green Bay. But look for those resident fish that other people are overlooking.
That's some good advice. Because so many people so many people think they only live in one place.
No, even up here, Jay. The fish will start transitioning in late June into July. On the deeper lakes anyway, they'll start getting out in that basin, right? Getting out in that deeper water, suspend with the bait fish and the water temps. But there's still fish in skinny water. I'll still go in there and beat up on them in weeds and along near shore break lines, stuff like that. You don't have to follow. You don't have to be a sheep and follow the herd. Just fish. Like to eat. They like to mate. And they don't like to move a lot. They only move by necessity. That's otherwise, if they can find
in the cold water, they don't like to move. They're
right.
Cold-blooded species, man.
Yep.
And that's some. Why don't you talk about where you guide and when you guide the bodies of water that you guide?
Yeah. So I'm super excited. I've got my master captain's license. It's better than a 6-pack, so I could even guide near shore, near coastal. But right now, I'm focusing on the Hayward, Wisconsin area, a little bit up in Lake Superior, up in the Schmockman Bay, and this year I am going to start guiding on Lake Erie.
When did you start guiding on Lake Erie?
Yeah, so I see you have my website up. Thank you for that. I just posted all my dates for Lake Erie and the rates and stuff. But I'm going to start guiding out there at a minimum from October 15th through November 23rd. Do half-day, three-quarter-day trips. And that coincides with the Walleye Slam and the Fall Brawl walleye tournaments, where a person can enter. I think last year they were $30 or $40, whatever each. But you can weigh a fish in every day, one fish a day. As long as you upgrade, you can keep weighing fish in. And you're fishing, depending on the tournament, either for a 622 Ranger or a 23-foot Warrior, fully rigged. And then there's prizes that cascade down from there. So, it's
Warrior.
Yep. It's an awesome experience, very popular. I think the Slam had, I want to say, near 8,000 entries last year, and the Brawl probably had twice that. A lot of people double enter, which is you can do. So if you get a donkey, you go to the Slam, you weigh it in. You go to the Fall Brawl, you weigh it in. You can win 2 boats with 1 fish. So I'm gonna do that. I might sneak out there for a couple weeks. Not sure. My guiding here in Hayward is just taking off. Seems like I'm booking daily lately. But so to answer your question, Hayward, Wisconsin area lakes and Lake Erie by the times that I've just talked about for now.
Sure. And guys, I guided for 17 years, and one thing I learned: you can be the best fisherman in the world if you have no personality. You're not going to make it as a guide. It's just the way it is. You have to be able to connect with your customers, because the backbone of any guide service is repeat customers. And
I think
Bill,
that's so true, Jay. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but you have to be. I mean, I say it in my boat all the time. I'm in it for the money, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it, right?
of course, of course.
But I'm in it for the education, for the bantering. I'm so flattered that people come back year after year. I've got many, probably a half a dozen this year that are either 2-day or 3-day with the same people that were just like 1 day last year, 1 day the year before, So I love when they get on my boat. I love when they walk off and say, "Hey, we had fun. It was a great time. We learned something." I'll share with them, even after they're off the boat. I'll get text all the time, say, "Hey, we're out here. We're going there." Give them guidance. I'm open book. A lot of guys don't do that. It's like, here's your bottle of water. Sit there. We're gonna jig for 8 hours, and then I'll take you back to the dock. That's not what I'm about. I love when I get a husband and wife in the boat, or I get brothers and sisters in the boat with dad. I'm a watcher. I don't fish that much when I'm guiding. I will sometimes, but just to see what the bite's doing. But I like to get that little contest going. Get that bantering going, and it breaks the day up because you're not always catching. But yeah, you gotta have a personality and make the people comfortable. More, you're strangers, right? You walk on the boat, you don't know each other, and if you don't get along, you got 8 hours to sit there and not get along. So you might as well get along right from the beginning. And I like to ask what they're, where they're from, what they do, and not the probe, but show interest.
Absolutely. I had a lot of guide trips where guys would bring their kids. They had their kids for the weekends only, and they'd bring them out there to fish, and I'd take care of their kids, and we'd fish for bluegills in the back. Well, Dad was up front fishing for bass and walleyes, and dads just loved that,
Yep.
Be in the back, and if the kids got tired, we'd sing SpongeBob songs,
Yeah. No, it's fun. I love it. I just I get off the water sometimes, and I think how freaking lucky I am.
You are lucky. So what's that on your shirt?
Yeah, I made that announcement last time. FXR
Sure did.
Pro Fish. They and Razor picked me up this spring, and I'm honored to be part of the FXR Pro Fish team. Milt Reimer and Chris Myron are huge supporters, and they grew up on motocross and snowmobiling. And matter of fact, when you go to their website, it's FXR Racing. But they've gone horizontal, and they've come out with many different types of lines now. And Pro Fish is one of them. Everything from tri-laminate bibs and jackets for unfair weather to good UPV protected long sleeve outerwear. Top quality. I think they're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, YKK customers, zipper customers. Very, very good. I think, this Pro Fish line is really going to give, the brand names that everybody sees out there, AFTCO, Sims, Blackfish, a run. Not only by quality, but innovation and design and comfort and style. So I've got links to them and all my sponsors on my webpage, but I would definitely encourage people to check it out, and trying to work out a program where I'm going to start posting on my Facebook page, just talk about the stuff, say, why do you use it? I don't use it because somebody wants to support me. I either used it before and then became, backed, or I believed in it enough that I started a program with somebody. That's just the way I am,
Absolutely.
but I don't change. What do they call it? Velcro sponsor patches,
Velcro pros, yeah.
I'm
You
not
have
that
to be
way.
very, very careful before you partner with a company. You have to believe in the company and believe in the people who run the company.
Yeah.
And you have to love their product.
Yeah. No, but FXR is top notch, and For the folks that are around the Minnesota area, they've got a outlet store over in Forest Lake. I was in there the day before or the week before I left for Lake Erie. Again, just top notch. But I'm gonna start doing some, like I said, some videos and live broadcasts of just different FXR components that I have and that I believe in.
Well, that's great. Well, Bill, I mean, you already did your first shout out. Would you have any other shout outs you'd like to do?
Oh gosh, yeah. I'm so fortunate. Mercury, of course, being part of the pro team, Lawrence, they treat me really well. Ron Hunter is always out there within the tournaments, giving us support. Ron's an awesome guy. I got to see him in Lake Erie. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, super guy. The Stickles with Razor Rods. That was a move for me that I did make a move on a rod sponsor this year, and I like the way they do business, and 100% U.S. components, U.S. Manufactured, and I like that they ask questions to say, hey, if I have a 6.6 rod, do you want a 6.8 rod? Do you want me to try? Help them grow, because they just took the company over a few years ago, and they're learning too. But. So I'm very fortunate. I mentioned Frankie's down in Chisago City, Minnesota. They're my Ranger dealer, and they're like my NASCAR pit crew. If I got a problem, I text Debbie and say I got it coming in. I got this issue. They're right on top of it. But they're the Midwest largest dealer, and totally supportive. But I've got all my others listed on my website, but. Ego Fishing is a good sponsor. I really, Grant Corbett. I don't know if anyone's even heard of the Ego net system. Next podcast I'll bring one out. It's an expandable net system with interchangeable heads. Freaking awesome technology, lightweight. They float. Super company. So yeah, I'm blessed in a lot of ways, Jay. I really am.
You sure are.
And my biggest fan is Kelly. So
of course,
yeah,
of course, as it should be.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Bill? Truly an honor to have you on my podcast again. Truly humbled it.
No, I'm the one that's humbled, Jay. You're really getting some momentum in these in your expansion into the bass side, and you're really getting some traction. And I'm the one that's humbled. I'm just a guy. So I hope I bring value, and I hope people, and I put it out there, but, it'd be nice to have some questions and stuff too. We'll maybe get ahead of the game and say, okay, get 3 or 4 questions where we can direct, I'll bring some components out or whatever people want to see. Maybe we can change that up a little bit next time, just to keep the excitement and expand the audience.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the Let's Talk Fishing podcast. Again, my name is Jay Angel. I was your host with very special guest, Captain Bill Kutka.
Thanks, Jay.